Hey everyone, it's me, Ian from the Postal Hub podcast.
And Marek from Last Mile Experts.
And we are the Last Mile Prophets. And today, a couple of days ago, we recorded this episode about what would happen in the last mile if Facebook got serious about e-commerce. And then yesterday, Facebook announced Facebook Shops, allowing Shopify merchants, among others, to sell via Facebook. Now, this is a big move, especially considering Shopify's relationship with some delivery companies. So what do you think of our predictions of what Facebook entering e-commerce could mean for the last mile? Watch the video and comment below. So apparently a Facebook executive told a panel at a conference earlier this year that Facebook's new focus was to help retailers through the purchase and post-purchase phase. Should we be a little bit worried about Facebook saying it'll help people?
Well, honestly... Worried. I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. Worried can be related to the fact that these tech companies know more and more about us and they can control and influence in ways we might not even realize.
Well, Facebook knows a lot about its users, and that's been sort of the center of this focus over the last couple of years with regard to how much Facebook knows about its users and how it uses that information. Now, if it's using it in a selling environment, it's making things convenient, saying to the user, well, we're going to sell you what you need. We're going to make things appear in your Facebook feed to the things that you need. Could this be a boost for e-commerce overall and help just things through to the last mile? If it boosts e-commerce overall, does this mean a boost to volumes in the last mile? And what does it mean for last mile players?
Absolutely. I mean, I think e-commerce, and this would be an interesting debate, is actually all about understanding your customer, giving him what he wants in a convenient and accessible manner. And frankly, Facebook has it. To be honest, Google has it. And that's why these two potential entrants could be very, very dangerous. I think much more dangerous for Amazon.
Because Facebook is a much broader platform. Amazon's just about buying products and selling products. Facebook is about the entire social experience. It's got news, it's got connections with friends and family. It's just to add e-commerce in there. Well, we should also mention at this point that Facebook owns Instagram, doesn't it? And they've tried this sort of thing, they're being able to buy things that you see on Instagram, being able to buy it instantly. So it's not that big a step to integrate into Facebook.
Pretty well. From what I read in the article, wasn't it that Adidas US, was it 30% or something increase?
Adidas reported a 40% increase in online sales in the US during the first 3 months of 2019, largely attributed to their involvement in the checkout beta trial, or beta, depending on how you like to say it. Those are big numbers for a retailer like Adidas, and considering the increase in direct to consumer, Marek, I think this is an interesting thing for us as well when it comes to the last mile as to what this is going to mean. So we're mentioning convenience to the customer. How does the last mile fit into all of this? We know how it fits in with Amazon, but how could it fit in with Facebook?
Can I just hold that thought for a second? Because for me, there's something really interesting.
Yeah.
I remember about 15 years ago.
I don't remember 15 years ago. Go on.
Well, you're a young chap. I'm an old man. And we had a La Poste strategy meeting, and we were talking about who could be the stealth competitor for us in the last mile.
Right.
And guess who came up? The big A.
Right.
Amazon.
That was 15 years ago you were saying this.
Well, maybe 10. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I tend to exaggerate a teeny bit. But it was a long, long time ago, long before they started. And I actually reckon, let's now think ahead, maybe not 10, 15 years, maybe a couple of years ahead, Google, Facebook. These guys have a real opportunity because last mile and e-commerce now is all about tech. It's all about being close to the customer.
So this means that platforms like Facebook will be under pressure to maintain active users and continue to grow their active users, because we've seen in social media it can be quite fragmented. Some people will be active on one platform and not another. Platforms can have rising and falling popularity. But again, let's bring this back to the last mile though, Marek, because we really need to sort of talk about this. Is Amazon makes it customer-centric by, well, just summarize for us, how does Amazon make it customer-centric? Because then the question is going to be, how can Facebook make it convenient?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I will now tell you why Amazon does it, and you tell me what's going to be different in Facebook. I don't think there's anything that's different. Amazon understands you being the customer better than anyone else. They have feedback which helps them understand what you might like, when you might like it. They can even predict what you're going to order. They have more and more technology like Alexa that can make things easy, convenient, simple. So you don't even have to press a button sometimes anymore. You just say, Alexa, I want my favorite wine, or whatever else. And the result of that is it's a seamless, easy process where you have huge selection of items and you know that the price is going to be pretty good.
Okay.
Why go anywhere else? And why should Facebook be any different? With one caveat. On the retail side, they would probably open up to third parties, all the retailers, to give it all.
That's what I was going to say. Is number one, they would be letting basically any retailer, probably with some qualifications, so that you don't get too much in the way of things like counterfeit goods being sold through the platform and things like that. Because I reckon they're probably looking at what's happening with Amazon with regard to these ongoing reports about counterfeit goods or faulty goods, and making sure that this is convenient when it comes to things like complaints. Now, this just sounds trivial, but if you've got remember there was that thing with those hoverboards. Do you know? Remember this about a year or so ago? There were these hoverboards that caught fire spontaneously, and when the customer tried to sue, because this is in the USA and there's always a legal action behind things like insurance claims, etc., because their whole house burnt down, the vendor in China mysteriously disappeared. So who's left holding the can? So I reckon that Facebook will be looking at this in terms of convenience and reputation, because Mark Zuckerberg doesn't want to be appearing before another Senate committee answering questions about these sorts of things. So I reckon that will be part of it. So making it neutral in terms of the retailer. It'll probably be neutral in terms of the carrier. But what will be interesting will be in terms of the selling online, that Amazon knows a lot about your buying habits, but they don't know about, and they know about where you live. What do they know about your likes and dislikes, just in general, and the way that Facebook's able to play with that?
Well, the thing is, Ian, Amazon knows an awful lot more than you might think, and they ask a lot of questions. If you've used Prime, between the lines, there'll be a simple question saying, would you like to share some preferences with you? Would you, do you have any alternatives? This little bit of data. So actually, Amazon's a long way down the road, because you wanted to talk about last mile, a long way down the road on last mile. But before we jump there, what you said, I think, was really important. What Facebook, or for that matter, Google could offer is a certain guarantee that you buy from
a partner
retailer in China. You know that you're going to have a guarantee, you have a comeback, which Alibaba does to a degree. This is maybe for another VC, where actually I bought something and it was quite an interesting story, but Alibaba actually came up with the goods. But if you think about the last mile, Amazon does have one huge advantage. They've already gone down that route. They've made mistakes, but they've learned an awful lot, and they are probably, as we've discussed before, the single biggest catalyst for change in the last mile. Facebook or Google have to learn that.
So I said earlier that I thought that they would be carrier neutral in the last mile, but I guess the question could be, would Facebook set up its own last mile network, or is it prepared to just let everybody else do it? So will it go down the JD route or the Alibaba route, which is almost like saying eBay versus Amazon in some respects. Okay, I'm generalizing here, but maybe this is a discussion I'd like to see what people think. Comment below. What do you think? If Facebook gets into e-commerce, will it get into the last mile? Will it get into fulfillment, or will it just be interested in selling and making the e-commerce experience seamless and convenient? Comment below. Marek, any final comments?
Yeah, this is really cool, because I have an idea, and I think we could give Mark Zuckerberg some free consulting, but I'm going to wait. Let's see what people say, and then in our next episode, maybe we can do a follow up on this one, because I think it's a really interesting story.
So comment below, let us know what you think, and we'll come back to this topic in the future. Marek Rosiecki, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you, everyone. Hey, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this episode of The Last Mile Profits.
Make sure you subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and also the notifications bell, so you get a notification every time we add a new video to this channel. Look forward to sharing more stuff with you on The Last Mile Profits.